Welcome to the Profiled Corner. In today's video, I'm going to show some stock preparation approaches. Here at the radial arm saws, I have some black walnut that I need to surface on four sides for a couple projects. First of all, what I need to do is to test the moisture content of this wood using a known good moisture content meter. I have two meters with me today, and I thought I would show you the moisture content of this air-dried lumber that's been sitting in my shop for a while. I treated it last year with some boracare to kill any bugs that was in the air-dried wood. First of all, I have a Klein Tools moisture meter that I bought in late 2023 to test this wood. Okay, this moisture meter reading is 6.6%. In that spot, let's move it down a little, 8.4%. 7.6%, 7.7%. 8.3%. 8.4%. 8.6%. So that sounds like that's right in the area that you'd want it to be to use for furniture in a house. Typically between 6% and 8%. Let's test this over here. This is on the hardwood setting, by the way, 7.8%. Well, I can't believe my air-dried lumber is down to less than 8% in this unheated shop. 8.3%. 8.0%. Okay, now let's test it with a real meter. This Klein Tools meter is probably about $40, maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, now I've got a Wagner Meters Orion 950. This is also set to 3/4 inch. Okay, I'm getting a reading of 12.9%, 13%, 11.8%, 11.7%, 11.5%, 11.7%, 12%, 11.3%, 12.6%. These are more reasonable readings for air-dried lumber. That Klein Tools moisture meter does not produce accurate numbers for hardwood lumber. This is black walnut lumber, and this Wagner Meters is set for black walnut. Using the chart that comes with the book, or with the unit. The chart is in the book. As you can see, this is in the typical range for my area for air-dried lumber, and it's right around 12% or so. The stock is about 1.25 inches thick, maybe an inch thick, right around there. It's all rough sawn. Okay, so since I'm going to be using this project essentially in the shop here, since it's acclimated to my shop, this 12%, well, I've got 10% right there, this 12% moisture is not going to cause a problem for my use, because I'll be using it in my shop. Okay, next up, and the reason why I'm here at the radial arm saw is because one of the steps that you've got to look at is, do you have any odd crooks in your wood that'll cause problems at the joiner? In other words, do you have any problems where there's a really odd cup, and in order to remove that odd cup from the wood, you'd end up making the board way too thin? So you could look at your plan for the wood and decide, okay, well, I can cut it at this point here and use that portion of the wood and this portion of the wood to eliminate a significant twist in the board. And then once it goes over the jointer, then you're not losing nearly as much wood. Another thing that you can look at here is that I've got a significant defect down on this end. I've got a split here, and I've got a large knot. And it's not going to make much sense for me to joint this section of the board and then plane this section of the board. It'll just be wasteful. So at the radial arm saw, I can just chop that off, and then I don't have to worry about it. Now, if you don't have a radial arm saw, you can use a chop saw potentially, or some other saw, maybe a sliding compound miter saw, a track saw, a handheld circular saw, or something like that. You do need to make sure that you've got this pushed tightly up against the fence, and that after the cut takes place, that it's not going to shift on the fence. You want to make sure that it's still going to be tight against the fence, otherwise it could bind. Okay, so I'm going to cut this portion of the board off at the radial arm saw. Give me just a moment to swing over. I'm not going to use this saw. I'm going to use the one that's over here a little bit further. Okay, I've got it set up here at the radial arm saw. This portion of the board is going to be against the fence. So it'll still be against the fence after this cut is made. This is coming away from the fence right here. And so I would not want to push on this side, because then that'll leave this side away from the fence, and that'll be dangerous at the radial arm saw. So I want to make sure that I've got it flat against the fence, and because I've got it set up this way, I'm going to have to pull the radial arm saw out, not using my right hand, but using my left hand, and hold the board using my right hand. Here we go. I've got a 4S Chopmaster blade in both of the radial arm saws here. These are 12-inch saws. The Chopmaster blades have a negative hook angle, which means that as I'm pulling this blade through the board, the board is not going to try to be pushed back too aggressively against the fence, which means that the saw is not going to try to self-feed itself through the board in an uncontrolled manner. The negative hook angle controls that so that the saw does not try to self-feed. And it makes for a safe cut. The 12-inch saw is also a little bit more safer to use than a 10-inch saw because of the way this blade comes down. The larger blade makes it so that it's less likely to self-feed through the cut. Okay, so this is the cutoff section, and as you can see here, that 4S Chopmaster blade really leaves a nice surface. No chip out. Okay, so now we'll head over to the jointer and joint these boards. We need to head over to the planer next. My thickest board is about 1.18 inches thick. So I'm going to start at the planer here at about 1 1/16 inches. And I'll run all the boards through. Some of the boards may not make contact at all with the planer, but we'll go with it and see what happens. I need to take these down to 3/4 of an inch. I've got a digital caliper with me to measure the board as they come out, because I don't want to just trust the scale that's on the planer. Okay, here we go. to about 13/16. So I'm 2/1000ths over 3/4 of an inch. That's close enough for me. Okay, let's head over to the table saw next. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Bye.